Jesus teaches Judgment and Future, Paganism, Rome, Antichrist, and the Millennium. Volume 8, Chapter 46. The Judgment on Paganism. The Lord says, "Here my old disciple said, 'Lord and Master, you have promised us that, while we are here, you would tell us more about it. And so, do it now, since now would be the most appropriate opportunity.' Said I, 'Whenever the most appropriate opportunity arises, I surely will know best. Besides, I've already told you much about it, which will certainly come to pass, for I am not allowed to change anything about the free will of man, and neither can you. However, with my birth, everywhere has the judgment of the heathens already begun. It will increase, and will continue to do so for almost 2,000 years, until the full light emerges among the people of this earth. As you can see now towards the morning sky, how all manner of clouds are forming and piling up at the horizon, as if they wish to stop the sun from rising, so too will a great number of obstructing clouds seek to tower over and obscure the coming great rise of the eternal and spiritual Sun of Truth, inflicting great harm to the people. However, ultimately they will be unable to halt the great rise of the Sun of Truth. You have seen many beautiful stars strewn across the sky, and in the west you have seen stars that were shining deep into the night. Behold, these, as good messengers, preceded the still visible messengers of the morning and worked throughout the night. And this is now your task. However, when even brighter morning messengers will emerge at the spiritual horizon, then it will be a sign that the great Sun of Life and Truth will soon follow. Its brightest light will be a relentless judgment for all lies and deceit, which, together with its followers and worshippers, as well as its great worldly pomp, will be slung into the abyss of contempt, righteous wrath, and oblivion. For then the enlightened ones will not think back anymore to the deceit and judgment that had lasted for so long. However, already you can observe quite well how the mass of clouds that appeared so dark and threatening before is beginning to glow golden at the seams. Just like that will you notice that, during the time to come, how the people who were only recently entirely dark and true enemies of the light of truth are ever more enlightened from all sides by the rays of truth. Furthermore, they themselves will radiate light, and they become enemies of the old lie. This enlightenment by the Sun of Truth out of the heavens, drawing near to its full rise, will be my sign of the Son of Man for all the true people of this earth, and the beginning of the great judgment of the harlot of the New Babylon. Thereupon will those who love the truth shout with joy and praise me, for already have I sent them the sign of my rise in the sky of the inner spiritual day. Yet the enemies of the truth will begin to wail and gnash their teeth, and they will, as far as this will still be possible somehow, attempt to hide themselves in dark corners, together with their continuously decreasing number of followers. This, however, will be of no use to them, for at that time, when the full Sun of Truth will have risen, its light will illuminate all the dark corners and holes, and the enemies of the light will no longer find any place of refuge, nowhere on the entire earth. I myself will be the eternal truth within that sun, and by its light I will be ruler and leader of the lives of men, as well as of their temporary, spiritual, and eternal destiny. By this have I now revealed to you the full and easy-to-understand truth concerning the great judgment of the new and old paganism. However, for the sake of the people, I will give you another image, that you may tell the people as well, but not without the proper explanation. Let us now quietly continue to behold this morning scene. Chapter 47. The Future of Rome and of the Antichrist. After about a quarter of an hour of gazing at these morning scenes with great interest, again I said to those who were present, "Pay attention now to all the images that will appear before the full rise of the sun, for I want you to see with your own eyes how everything will develop during the final era of the new paganism." Now all of them turned their eyes with doubled attention towards the east. It was still about half an hour before the full sunrise, and thus still many images could develop before the eyes of the watching disciples. Firstly, one could spy a thick and entirely black mist arising from the horizon. Once it had reached a height of about 7 times that of the faraway mountain range on the horizon, it soon appeared to glow, for countless flashes of lightning were shooting through it. All those present thought that a terrible storm was raging there. However, I said, "We're about something else, for apart from us, no one can see anything of this phenomenon." They all continued to observe, to see what else would follow. And behold, upon the upper edge of the mass of black mist, incessantly illuminated by the many flashes of lightning, there appeared a great city. And I said, "Behold, the image of the new Babylon." Thereupon Agricola said, "Lord, it looks very much like Rome, only I see a great number of ruins surrounding the city, and within the city itself, besides the buildings that I know quite well, there are also a great number of new buildings and temples, whose gables are strangely decorated with crosses. What does all this mean?" Said I, "Behold, this is the fall of the old, and at the same time, the beginning of the new paganism. Already within approximately 500 to 600 years, counted from this point in time, this is what it will look like." However, continue looking at the image. Once again, all of them directed their attention to the image, and the scenes thereof were quickly developing, one after another. And behold, one could see great national migrations, and many a fierce battle and war, and in the middle of the city one could spy something rising as high as a mountain. Upon the mountain stood a tall and great throne, which appeared to be made of glowing gold. Upon the throne sat a ruler wearing a triple crown, wielding a staff whose top was adorned with a triple cross. From his mouth emerged countless arrows, and from his eyes and chest shot countless flashes of wrathful lightning, as well as the greatest pride. Kings came to him, many of whom bowed deeply before him. He gazed amicably at those who were bowing as such before him, and he confirmed their power. But those who did not bow before him were severely persecuted and harmed by his arrows and lightning. Now Agricola said, "Lord, this does not look too good for the later rulers of the new Babylon. It appears that their power will be greater than it is now, but it will be crueler as well. These days, only the worst criminals are punished with the cross, but only with a simple cross. Yet, in his governing hand, this ruler holds before all the kings a triple cross even. Lord and Master, do explain this to us." Said I, "This does not represent a unique ruler over many nations and peoples, for it is merely the visible personality of the Antichrist. This triple cross stands for my teaching, which during that time will be imposed upon the kings and their people in a triply false manner. False in word, false in truth, and false in the true application thereof. However, the kings who do not bow before him, and whom he curses, are those who still, more or less, remain in the truth of the old doctrine. His arrows and lightning may indeed reach them, yet these cannot do much harm to them. Now continue looking at the image, for therein I may show you the most crucial moments. Everyone continued to look on attentively. The Lord. Behold, the many kings who previously bowed deeply before the one sitting upon the throne are gathering their armies and march against him. Look, a fierce battle follows, and already his exalted throne sinks deep down into the city. You can see how a few kings merely bowed to him as a formality, while the many others who seceded are now returning many arrows and flashes of lightning to him. Now there is almost nothing left to be seen of him, and this will come to pass after 1,000 to 1,500 to 1,600 and 1,700 years. Look again now. Behold, he attempts to exalt himself once more, surrounded by dark gangs, and a few kings are reaching out to assist him. But look, those who do are soon bereft of their power, and their peoples are tearing the crowns off their heads, giving them to the strong kings instead. And look, now his throne sinks, and the strong kings hurry towards the place and divide it into several pieces. And so all his might, pride and greatness has gone to ruin. He still hurls arrows and weak lightning all around him, but these harm no one anymore, for most of the time they are sent back at him, injuring him and his weak and dark troops. Chapter 48. The Millennial Kingdom. The Lord. But look now how the sun is already penetrating everything with its light, and you can see the dark troops fleeing in all directions, yet not to whence the sun is coming. All disappears before its light, sinking into the kingdom of oblivion. Look again though. See how from the little clouds a new earth is developing. What do those little clouds represent? Those are the people who have united, completely enlightened by the divine truth. And look, now these communities are converging, and this way they form one great community. Behold, that is the new earth, and above it a new heaven spreads, brimming with light and clarity. However, you must not think that this natural earth will perish and be transformed into a new one. Instead, it is merely the people who will create, together with one another, a new spiritual earth in my name, for they will have accepted the divine truth as true brothers and sisters. I myself will then be and rule upon this new earth, among those who are mine. They will have communion with me, and will never again lose sight of me. But now, in the meantime, observe the old earth. Behold how ever more dense streams of light travel from the new earth down to the old earth. And they are ignited, appearing as though they were set ablaze. There you can see many dead people emerging from their graves, as it were, towards the light. Behold how they are soon clothed with the garment of truth, floating outwards to the kingdom of the new earth. Simultaneously, you may notice a still great darkness making an effort to put on the garment of light above its black garment, seeking to create a new anti-Christian paganism out of self-interest and lust for power. But I shall let my wrath, the fire of my truth, break loose, and my angels of the new earth will throw themselves with flaming swords at the darkness, chasing every further sinister attempt away into the abyss of annihilation. This is the very last and greatest judgment, 1,000 years later. That time will be called my millennial kingdom on earth, which will be interrupted by this final judgment for a very short time. Yet victory will be swift and complete for all times to come. From then on, there will be but one shepherd and one flock for the heavens and the earth. The shepherd will forever be me, and the flock will be the people of earth, completely united with the blessed ones in my heavens. These ones mentioned last will commune visibly with the people of earth, just as it was before, during the ancient times of the people on this earth. However, before that will happen, the natural earth will experience drastic changes. Large countries and kingdoms, now still covered by the great and deep sea, will be lifted up as fertile soil, and many still tall mountains will be lowered. Their crumbling peaks will fill up a great number of deep canyons and valleys, producing fertile land. Since the people of that time will no longer covet and pursue fleeting treasures, 100,000 times as many people as now will be able to live well-provided and happy lives on this earth. In tandem with this development, every wicked disease severely torturing the flesh will disappear from the earth. The people will reach a cheerful and high age, being able to do many good works, and nobody will be afraid of the death of the body, for all will clearly behold with their eyes the eternal life of the soul. During that time, it will be essential to properly raise and educate the children, as well as for the physically strong to assist the weak and elderly as best they can. Upon the new, blissful earth, there will even be marriages, but only according to my order, as it is the case in heaven. A great number of children will be begotten, but not by way of lust, but by way of the true and earnest love, until the end of all times of this earth. Here you now have a faithful image of the last judgment over all the heathens upon this earth, and this you may easily understand. Chapter 49. The mission of God's children in the beyond, the continued existence of the earth. Hereupon the disciples asked me, Lord and Master, will we be able to see and experience all this from the kingdom of spirits? And how long will the blissful earth continue to exist thereafter, until the final end of its times? Said I, concerning your first question, it is of course evident that not only will you be able to see, hear, and feel all this clearly from the heavens, but you will even be leaders thereof, for all times to come, and not only over the new earth, but even over the entirety of the great man of creation, and over all communities of all the heavens, limitless throughout eternity. Therefore, I say to you once more, no man has ever seen or heard, and his spirit has never experienced what God has prepared for those who truly love him. I still could tell and even show you many things, but you cannot bear them yet. However, when the Spirit of all truth and life comes upon you, and you will be reborn within it, it will guide you into the depths of my light, exalting you. Only then will you understand and perceive what great words I have spoken to you just now, even through you to all the people. Concerning your second question, it truly is quite silly, for our arithmetic has no figure by which one could express the many more years the earth will last, until its very end. And even if it were possible, it will make absolutely no difference to him who will continue to exist eternally in the Spirit. I say to all of you, no angel in heaven knows anything of such an eventual appointed time and hour. For only the Father in heaven knows, because the whole of creation is his greatest thought, which is, however, not a thought of time, but a thought eternal, and simultaneously he is the almighty carrier and keeper thereof. Only recently have I shown you how all of matter will finally be transformed, as an independent being, into something purely spiritual. And so, it is not necessary to tell you anything more about it. Instead, see and contemplate the beautiful nature of morning, and behold the intensity of the sunlight, chasing away all the haze and darkness of the earth. Realize that this will be your work as well in times to come. And this will be better for you than to eagerly inform yourselves of things which will not be your concern for a long while. Already quite often have I shown you the many things you should be concerned about instead. About everything else, worry not, even in the slightest. Yes, I tell you that, if you cling to me in faith and love, it is unnecessary and even vain to worry about that day to come, or what you will eat and drink, and with what you will clothe your body. Does one not receive 100 sparrows for a single penny on the market? Thus, what little value they have to the people, and yet the Father in heaven takes care of them and clothes them nonetheless. You, as human beings, are surely more valuable than those sparrows. Gaze upon those field flowers and lilies. Solomon, even in all his glory, was not clothed as magnificently as they are. Who is it that cares for their garment? Therefore, all these worries of yours are vanity, and even more so are the worries concerning the future end times of this earth. Did you all understand this well now? All except Judas Iscariot assent to it. He thought it was not completely clear to him what I had predicted on the mountain regarding the final judgment of the heathens. However, I said to him, turn to those to whom it has become clear. What the Romans and Gentiles were able to understand should be, for you, as Jew and old disciple, certainly be understandable as well. On this he said nothing more, and withdrew once again, for he realized why I had given him such an answer.